This Late Night Linux Family podcast is made possible by our patrons. Go to latenightlinux.com/support for details of how you can join them. Support us on Patreon for access to ad-free episodes and early releases. That's latenightlinux.com/support. Hello and welcome to episode 367 of Late Night Linux, recorded on the 29th of December 2025. I'm Joe, and with me are Phelim.
2026, oh yeah.
Graham.
367.
And Will.
Happy New Year.
Yes, it will be New Year by the time this comes out, and so it's time to look back at our predictions for 2025 and see how we did.
Brilliantly.
Later on, we'll make some new ones, but first let's have a look at these old ones. So, Will, you said the AI bubble bursts and takes a few VC funds down with it.
Well, as we record on the 29th of December, this has not happened, but there's still a couple of days left, so...
Yes, you never know.
If you're listening to this on your wind-up radios, you'll know Will was in fact correct.
Yes, it hasn't happened this year so far, and it probably won't happen in the next couple of months, but it feels more and more imminent the more time has passed. Ed Zetron's email, Where's Your Ed At?, talks about the shitty financial crisis. This was published on the 29th of December, which is, as we record, today. And it's a long post, but it's really detailed and really good. And the amount of financial fuckery that is going on really concerns me. And it concerns me not for the financial well-being of AI companies, but for the market as a whole. I think that Ed is, like me, a bit pessimistic about the way that the modern world works, and just it all seems to be smoke and mirrors. The further down you go, the more mysterious it gets. But his latest post talks about how huge amounts of money, billions, hundreds of billions of dollars worth of money are moving around all of the big AI players, NVIDIA, Microsoft, OpenAI, and it's all just the same money being written off and hidden from the books and moved around in mysterious ways. There is something really weird going on here. It's definitely a bit of a grift. The money doesn't exist, and that's okay as far as the markets are concerned. But at some point, it will not be okay anymore. And then we really are in trouble, where the companies cannot afford to pay back the massive amounts of debt that they've taken on to finance this growth. And then what happens? I don't know.
Well, yeah, I think you're right there. We don't know what's going to happen, but something is going to happen. I said the arse is going to fall out of the crypto and AI grifts, but the quantum grift is going to go bananas. So I was wrong on all three of them. Crypto is still... I mean, it's kind of corrected a little bit down, but it's still going. I don't know. And the AI grift is still going. So, yeah, I think we were both wrong there. However, Graham said the AI hype does not subside. So, unfortunately, Graham wins the point.
Smashed it.
Yeah, sorry, guys. Breaks my heart.
All right, Phelim, you said year of the user-funded desktop. Yes, KDE.
Come on. Give me the point.
Yes, as we talked about last time, you are correct, and this is definitely point-worthy.
Yeah, I can't be more like marked out, I think, on that one. Come on.
Yeah.
338, God knows what it is this week later, but yeah.
All right, Graham said, Bing starts to meaningfully encroach on Google's search territory, which is not happened. But you said striking the fear of God into Google, which abandons even more of its moonshot projects, but not Gemini at the top of its search results. History will show this is the beginning of Google's long decline. And I think that you were wrong about Bing, but I mean, just talking to a young person yesterday, I love ChatGPT, I pay for premium. It's planned all my holiday and told me how to get the visa and all the rest of it.
What?
Yeah.
That's not a thing that happens.
That is a thing that young people do, Phelim, unfortunately. And so I think that the likes of OpenAI, not Microsoft and Bing, have encouraged. So it feels like a half a point for you, Graham, there.
I think Graham seems to have asked AI to give him an answer that would be both simultaneously wrong and right at the same time.
Yeah, I can remember what I was thinking, and it's not happened as I dreamt it would happen. But also I can see that they've caught up a little with Gemini this year, which it pains me to say. So the gap probably isn't so wise if they rebrand Gemini to OpenGPT or something. I don't know, but yeah.
Well, OpenAI did send out a memo internally, like worried about how good Gemini was getting. So the arms race continues. All right, I said malicious code will be found in a key bit of FOSS infrastructure that makes the XZ thing look small and insignificant.
Thankfully not.
No, I've never been happier to be wrong about something.
Yep.
It did feel like it was going to happen, but thankfully it didn't. All right, Phelim, your usual one. Cyber warfare goes rampant. Cable cuts and Ukrainian backlash, as well as the orange one.
Well, I'd just like to say thank you to the Ukrainian army for being well on the ball and making sure that didn't happen.
Yeah, all right. Well, no points there. Related, Will, you said Russia cuts off a large part of Europe from the internet via a combination of software hacks and physical attacks on infrastructure. Everyone pretends it was an accident to avoid World War III.
Okay, we have not seen a large part of Europe be cut off from the internet, but we have seen cable cuts. We have seen suspicious operations in the North Sea from Russia, but it hasn't happened yet.
No, thankfully it hasn't. It may well happen soon, but fortunately you are wrong and no point. Graham decided to cheat and said Valve launches a new VR headset. It's based on Linux, SteamOS, and the Steam Deck 2.0 hardware with the power to run its own games as well as to stream low latency from a PC.
What the fuck?
Other handheld devices running SteamOS start to appear.
Did he actually say that exact sentence, roughly?
Yeah, pretty much.
That is fucking disgustingly accurate. I'm sickened.
Well, it isn't, though.
Oh, yeah, okay. It's not Steam Deck 2.0, but everything bloody else is exactly from the...
Oh, we don't know. I reserved the right on that. Steam Deck 2.0 could be running on ARM hardware.
Well,
we don't know yet.
I would just like to say Valve launches a new VR headset.
Yes.
Well, they've announced it, but they haven't launched it, so no points to you.
Oh, that's harsh. Oh, that is so harsh.
Well, they've not launched it. Can you buy it? Can you even pre-order it? No. So this was completely 100% wrong.
Oh, that's mean. I mean, that's brutal. You're nasty.
All right, maybe half a point.
Did somebody take a shit in your Fox's Classic Biscuits this Christmas?
Yes, a shrinkflation-sized shit. All right, Phelim, you said the whole Firefox board resigns, I think you mean Mozilla, and devs split the browser out into a user-funded unit.
Hang on.
Wishful thinking.
It's very hard to actually audibly sigh on a microphone.
Yeah, so no points there, unfortunately. I said Firefox market share stabilizes, maybe even slightly grows.
It's like a tangent approaching zero.
Yeah, I did look, and the graph does look pretty flat, but it is actually slightly down, at least for StatCounter. I don't know how much you can trust that. So, yeah, pretty much wrong on that one. I mean, it has kind of stabilized, hasn't it? Stabilized at fuck all, as you say. So maybe half a point at best. I don't know. I'm not going to win anyway, so who cares? All right, Will, you said a hacker roots their Tesla, which then parks itself in someone's living room.
To the best of my knowledge, this has not happened.
Well, the first part hasn't. The second half definitely has.
But no, I don't think you get a point on that one. All right, I said, I thought this was safe. No big drama with desktop Linux, just lots of incremental improvements. No forks, no storming off.
Oops.
I suppose the Xorg thing means no point there. GNOME and KDE progressing. Yeah, okay. Smaller desktops creeping towards a well-in future. Just about with Wayback. And I also said I will be daily driving something other than XFCE on my main machine by the end of the year. And then Graham countered that with Joe switches to a different desktop and then switches back to XFCE. And I'm still here looking at XFCE, and I've kind of tried KDE and GNOME a little bit, but not on any of my daily drivers. So, yeah, only the little bit in the middle there about GNOME and KDE progressing, really. So maybe half a point. I don't know. I'm in charge. I'm giving myself half a point. Fuck you.
Fix.
Graham, you said KDE's official distro becomes the cool kid on the block, cool with a K, and 2025's distro wunderkind. This has not happened, but it is doing pretty well.
Yeah, I'm a bit disappointed, I guess, that it hasn't captured sticking with the German word zeitgeist. But, I think it's a good thing for them to be doing, and it's great that they're doing it.
Yeah, I think that you could have predicted this for 2026 and maybe got a point, but I think it was just too early. All right, Will, yours was nothing to do with Linux, your last one. Solar panels with perovskite, I don't know how you say that, hit the mainstream and become mandatory on new builds and that sort of thing.
Yeah, and this hasn't happened, but I've linked to an article in the document which was published in October, which is talking about the new, relatively new spin-off from Oxford University, who is trying to get these panels into the mainstream. And they're reporting efficiencies of 25% plus. Some Chinese labs who are licensing some of their technology are up to 30%. That's a significant uptick, like maybe 5-10% more efficient than current mainstream solar panels. So that's good, but it hasn't hit the mainstream. I also talked about mini nukes becoming a thing, and that hasn't happened either. But we have seen in the last couple of months Rolls-Royce getting, contracts, let's say, for building mini nukes in the UK. And so I hope that that is the beginning of a more green electricity, or rather a reduced carbon electricity source in the UK.
Either that or Fallout 4.
Yeah, to be clear, we're not talking mini nukes as in tactical nukes. We're talking about mini nuclear power stations, civil nuclear.
To be fair, if we did nuke the country, we would use a lot less electricity. So,
All I hope for is a lot of fucking westerly wind on that fucking day. Blow it fucking to France rather than here.
Well, I can't be asked to even do the maths. Clearly, Graham has won this with like 11 points. So well done, Graham.
Well done.
Thank you. And thanks to the LLMs who helped me predict this year.
All right, 2026 predictions then. Will, what's your first one?
Open source funding becomes political. We talked a little bit about this in the past, but it feels like we've seen a lot more open source projects get funding from alternative sources. And I think that model where big governments are sponsoring, or perhaps an arm of government is sponsoring open source projects, to become perhaps more normal. I am a bit concerned that this is then the taxpayer subsidizing software development for the big tech corporations who benefit from it. But we just haven't seen that uptake of opportunity for sponsorship on these open source projects that we would like to see. And so I think that it's time that the probably more socialist countries in the EU do form these large, well-financed from public money bodies to sponsor particularly important projects. I think this will become the standard model for very important, very large projects.
I would love to see that.
I'd love to see it, but I don't see it happening.
I don't think it's beyond the realms, in fairness. There are a few things like that have happened. And yeah, I can't think of a better way to spend public money than public code. So yes, make this happen. Ursula, can you hear us? Get it done.
Graham, what's your first one?
I do think gaming is going to continue to be super important. So I'm saying Valve releases SteamOS for generic PCs, which I think is maybe not that imaginative, but I've got a Windows 10 PC that I used to use for gaming. I can't do anything with it. I've still got the games on it. I can't face trying to upgrade it. It's still perfectly good hardware. There must be millions of people like me, and I reckon Valve knows this, and so that's going to be their priority for SteamOS for generic PCs. All these old Windows 10 machines that just have a load of games on them, they're going to find a way of making it a SteamOS games PC console.
I mean, you could just install Linux on that machine, Graham. Come on.
Yeah, I know. But I actually really like the Steam. I have it plugged into a TV. I like the Steam OS experience. It takes me away from the computers that I spend all day in front of.
Just have it boot to big picture mode. It'll be fine.
Yeah, and I have done all that as well. But for Windows 10 users who don't know about Linux, I hope that Valve comes up with something that you just stick it in and it handles everything for you. I mean, related to this, I think there's a bigger movement to ARM64 for SteamOS and FEX. I also wanted to mention that KDE in VR and the Steam frame is going to be a thing, and that's amazing.
Yeah.
Flying around in Dolphin.
Yeah, I mean, those cubes are going to be, spinning cube desktops in 3D. I'm just going to spend all day on that.
Going to have sick bags by my desk.
Yeah.
All right, Phelim, you've got a nice cheerful one.
There's an incarnation of this gets predicted every year by me, but I think this time it may actually be war and insert your, what was that news show? Not the Brass Eye, the other one.
The Day-to-Day.
Yeah, where he convinces everybody that it's a war by it not being an actual fight. Well, I think the Venezuela sideshow is in fact an attack by America on China's oil supply, which is coming from one of, actually, apparently, I only learned this recently, the largest oil reserve in the world, bigger than Saudi Arabia's, is Venezuela's. So I think with that going on, the whole, the US company had to buy part of the Panama Canal back from a Chinese resource. So I think there's going to be some big stuff going on there. And I think the end result of all this is a massive cyber war in the background that we're all going to end up picking the pieces up from.
People are going to write to us and say, you're always going on about geopolitics. Stick to the tech instead.
Well, the tech is going to be absolutely rammed out of it because there's going to be so many people hammering it. There you go.
All right. Well, I think we'll spend the whole year moaning about the Mozilla leadership and their decisions, but then nothing will change. I think that we'll still be using Firefox this time next year, or maybe one of the downstream versions that's got the AI bullshit removed. But I mean, that's not a separate thing. I don't consider those downstream forks to be separate. They are completely and utterly dependent on Firefox. So you may as well just turn off the flags for the AI stuff. And they have kind of promised us a big button to turn off the AI bullshit. We'll see if that materializes. But yeah, I think that nothing's going to change, but we will spend the whole year fucking moaning as usual.
I don't think you should be allowed that because that is not a prediction. That is literally, that could have been any year in the past. How long have we been doing this?
I don't want Graham to win again.
Fine.
All right, Will, your second one's another laugh a minute.
I'm really concerned about age verification.
Personally?
Yeah, not because it stops me personally looking at mucky JPEGs, but I think it's lazy regulation is what I'm really concerned about here. I think we've seen it, we have seen it used on porn sites and then other sites as well. And I can't think of a good example here, but we have seen
Reddit.
it. Yeah, Reddit, there you go. Imgur, I think, was the other one.
Yeah, completely blocked in the UK.
Yeah. And so this is just laziness on the part of the website operators rather than go through umpteen tons of red tape and politics. They're just like, oh, screw it, we won't bother doing it. If we want to keep accessing websites, it's going to become show your ID in order to use the internet generally. And I really am concerned that that means people will be uploading passports and driving license and biometric checks to some random website that has sprung up because there's money to be made with very little oversight. And all of that information will leak into the public domain. It will be an absolute disaster. I think that this is as certain to happen as a thing is possible to be. If the age verification continues to spread onto more and more websites, a leak is inevitable. It will be bad news for more people if more websites require that in the first place. I don't know how we fight back against it. It feels like it needs to come from the centre of government, and so politics is involved yet again. But really, we need to actively fight back against this spread of verification, I think.
Yeah. 1 point for Will there, almost certainly.
I think Will has clearly got something to hide.
Yeah. Papers, please, Will. Come on. All right, Graham, you've got a nice safe one as well.
I did actually give this some thought, and I was trying to think of like wayward, exciting predictions. But really, the continued boring growth of Linux, who'd have thought we'd have got to this position? I mean, it is amazing. I think we have to stand back and look at how far we've come to kind of take it for granted that it's not exciting to predict more people will be using Linux. We'll have more people on the desktop. There's still loads of innovation going on in the kernel. There's lots of optimizations still being made. I've put RISC-V in here as well because I think that's becoming more and more significant. These aren't like, there's nothing big or major here, and I know it's going to be difficult to score a point at the end of the year. But I think on aggregate, it's really good to stand back and look and think how far Linux growth has come and continue. This, I think at the moment, we're at a period of biggest growth for Linux right now, and it's unsexy and we don't really see it for what it is, but it's amazing.
Yeah. I do wonder how much of it is Valve and SteamOS. Like, how we're going to separate that out. I think we might have to start separating that out. We might have to start treating it like Chrome OS potentially. But yeah, I think, again, guaranteed point there for you pretty much. You did put a load of other stuff in there. It's like these politicians who tack on random shit to bills.
Yeah, I didn't know how far we'd get or how we'd do it. I mean, I did put an except for Mozilla. Someone will create a very popular petition to remove the board and Mozilla will be forced to respond. And I feel like we should put ourselves up for that board, personally.
Absolutely. All right, Phelim, you've got an AI bullshit one.
Well, I think Windows Recall is going to have a massive security incident. And I think over the year, a lot of people are going to be in revolt against Windows 11 and the shit show that it is. And I think we will see some decent increases from that. And I know that's very hand-wavy and very hard to possibly prove. But I just think if anybody was to look at a graph to show Windows users, it'll be spiking upwards, not the usual sort of angle that it's at of gradual from that. It might be minuscule in comparison, but hoping for big.
I don't know about this. I think that, yeah, there might be a security incident, but I don't think it's going to change much because I don't think anybody chooses to use Windows 11, do they? Or very few people.
I think there's more backlash than we're sort of believing. I know we all want to believe that in Linux land, that people hate Windows, but I think people who use Windows genuinely hate fucking Windows.
Yeah, but the point is that most people who use Windows don't choose to do it. It's because their work gave them a laptop running Windows.
Sure, but I think there's a bit more sort of knowledge about how, well, probably with Steam. I mean, Steam Deck is doing awesome work there for us. And yeah, I just wonder if that's maybe going to actually ripple out a bit more. It's wishful thinking. Don't shit in my pool, for fuck's sake.
Okay, well, let's give you a preemptive point on that. For the Christmas spirit.
Thank you.
All right, I think that Graham and I will not be using the same phone that we are now this time next year.
Chub keys in them when you close it, was it?
Yeah, so for reference, we both have a Pixel Fold. We both did have a Pixel 9 Pro Fold. Graham, you've still got yours.
Yeah.
And I did have one of those until it stopped recognizing my SIM card. And then I found out it was still under warranty, got onto the Google thing, typed in what was wrong with it, and instantly, a bit suspiciously instantly, they said, we will give you a free Pixel 10 Pro Fold, which I have now got.
That's ridiculous.
So I sent it off for free. And then about a week after I'd sent mine off, it turned up, the Pixel 10 Pro Fold, and it is almost exactly the same phone. I can't really tell the difference, except that it's got a new hinge and it doesn't open 100% flat. I'd say there's like, it's not 180 degrees, it's more like 179.5 or something. So that's a bit annoying.
Oh, you're going to force that at some point when you're pissed.
Yes.
Is that flat with the camera bump then?
Or maybe, I don't know. I've not tried.
You're probably right about this because I think my Pixel Fold 9 will develop the same SIM problem just after they announce the Google Pixel Fold 11.
And then you'll one-up me, yeah. MKBHD put out a video earlier in the year, and the title was, Are Foldables Cooked? And he basically said no because of that law of headlines, whatever. But I think that foldables are fundamentally flawed. Too many moving parts. They're fucking cool. I love having mine, but I did have a period with the Pixel 7 while I was waiting for this, and it was nice to not have a gigantic phone. But then it sucked to not be able to unfold it and, you know, have a tablet in my hands.
I'm still in the honeymoon period with mine. I still love it. It still feels like a luxury to remember that I can unfold it and then treat it like a tablet. But I've been out like on my mountain bike a few times and I'm terrified of getting that thing out in sand and mud to look at a map. Really terrified.
Yeah. So I just don't think we'll be using the same actual phone that we have now. It'll either be a replacement or an upgrade or something.
You'll be using the new Apple folding phone, I imagine.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's definitely coming. All right, well, I'm going to sneak in a third one. You lot are not allowed a third one, but I'm sneaking this in. Ubuntu flavor situation will be tightened up and reorganized. I think there's too many Ubuntu flavors. Some of them are getting neglected. I think after 2604 comes out, there'll be a reckoning there. The standards will be tightened up. It'll be harder to become an official flavor, and some will lose their official flavor status. I have no inside info on this. This is just a feeling that I have, so we'll see.
I think I won't be using Neon, but I don't think I'll be using KDE Linux either.
No. You might have to go back to Kubuntu.
I might have to.
And just be stuck on the old versions of KDE.
Oh, I don't like that at all. Maybe I'll just make my own distro.
Maybe just a PPA or something.
PPA,
It'll be fine.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, that's basically what Neon is anyway.
Oh, Jesus Christ. How dare you, sir?
Well, we'll see what comes of all these predictions this time next year. But for now, we better get out of here. We'll be back next week when it'll probably be back to normal service, but we'll have to see. Until then, I've been Joe.
I've been Phelan.
I've been Graham.
And I've been Will.
See you later.